Hey everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts, and welcome to the 10th episode of the Chainsaw Reacts podcast. I want to personally thank each and every one of you who has supported the podcast so far. I know my audio is not perfect. I know sometimes I stumble on my words and I mess up, but it is what it is. We're all human. But I want to personally thank once again each and every one of you who has supported the podcast up to this point. We've made it to episode 10. Let's continue on. Today, once again, we have three topics for you guys. The first two topics are, of course, pictures that we have seen of different characters we're going to be seeing in the upcoming films in 2015 and 2016. And also, we're going to be talking about the third official topic, which I'll say what the topics are in a second, is a topic about upcoming supposed trailers we'll be getting. So the first topic we're going to get into is, of course, the Joker kind of showed off in a picture referencing the Killing Joke. We got to see Jared Leto in a green hair, essentially, and so we'll talk about that first. The second topic is, of course, The Thing from their Fantastic Four reboot. We've had two photos that we're going to be talking about a little bit, basically talking about his face and his look, and basically what I hope to see, at least for The Thing in the Fantastic Four reboot. And the third topic is we're going to combine them both together, essentially, because they're rumored trailers at this point, at this current time recording, not confirmed. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice trailer supposedly attached to Mad Max Fury Road, that film when it comes out in middle of May, and also supposedly a Star Wars The Force Awakens official full trailer supposedly being showed at Star Wars Celebration or in front of Avengers Age of Ultron, so we'll talk about those combined at the end. So anyways, guys, I've spent a lot of time introducing this, so of course in the description is, of course, the time starts for these topics, so you can skip ahead and forget all this intro crap. But anyways, let's jump into our first topic, which is the Joker kind of official showed off a blurry pic. So as you can see on screen here, it's been on the screen for during this whole entire intro, is the side-by-side comparison of course, the really famous cover, and of course the famous comic, The Killing Joke, with the Joker there taking a photo. And then right next to it, we have basically a comparison of kind of an homage to Jared Leto's kind of look of the Joker, at least his hairstyle, and obviously referencing The Killing Joke. I want to personally say, before I get into any more of this, getting more in depth about what I would like to see within the look of the Joker, on top of the fact of his green hair we've already seen, is that I like the fact that they did this homage because a photo came out of the Suicide Squad cast, and I believe there was producers and writers in that photo, because there was a lot of people in the photo. So my assumption is that's not going to be the entire main cast. If it's a couple of people that are kind of have smaller roles, and sure, but I think that there were some other people involved too. But everyone was wondering, within the Suicide Squad cast slash whatever, whoever else was in the photo, where was Jared Leto, the Joker? And I think that this photo, as you're seeing here, is kind of an homage to of course, to the Killing Joke cover, but also I think it was a reference to that Jared Leto was either there and he took the photo, or he wasn't there, and this is kind of like, oh, the Joker took the photo, wink wink, and that was kind of their homage there too. But getting to his actual look here, I like that his hair is kind of, pulled back in a sense. It's shorter. You can kind of see the green, and I like the fact that they did this, because if they came right out and showed his hair exactly what it's going to look like within the film, not without like a perfect photo, like no blurriness within the photo we're seeing, or no light shining down in his head, and we get to see perfectly what his hair looks like, it kind of ruins it, because the film is over a year away at this point. So we kind of need to wait off until that really good photo comes out of him in the makeup and all that stuff, so we can actually see him. I like the fact that they're teasing us, and they've been teasing us for a while, and Jared Leto has as well. But this photo is really cool, on top of the fact that it's an homage to The Killing Joke, but the fact that we can kind of get a glimpse of what his hairstyle, and at least kind of the gist of what the green is going to be in his hair. The more important thing for me in seeing this photo is that Jared Leto has been doing a lot of research about the different Jokers that has been in the comics, and I believe he's looking at the different variations of Joker in the films. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know he's doing a lot of research for this role, because the Joker, I mean, he is the most famous villain of all time, really, at this point. I mean, in DC and Marvel combined. I mean, if we're not comparing Marvel, in DC, the whole entire DC world, the Joker is probably the most famous villain. And for Jared Leto to take over the role that Heath Ledger last donned on the big screen, and Heath Ledger kicked it out of the park. He destroyed that role because he was so damn good, and in a lot of sense, it was so original in the sense of if you look at the Joker. Now there were some, hints and pieces of the Joker that we got from different variations of the comics, but Heath Ledger made it his own. And now when Jared Leto steps in, he's got to really make this Joker his own. Now, obviously, doing the research and looking into the character, that has to happen because he has to get into that character's mindset. He has to understand who the Joker is. I mean, to what level we can understand the Joker, because there has to be some mystery to the Joker. We have to have some mystery of him so we're not fully, understanding, so we know what he's going to do next and all this stuff. He has to have some kind of mystery to him, and he has to be unpredictable. So what I want to see within this Joker of Jared Leto, of course, I think the face paint, what they're going to do with that, or whatever they decide to go with, if he has a face paint or his whole entire body is that way, the deformed into the clown look we're seeing on the Killing Joke cover side by side here. I think that whatever way they go, I just want him to perform his own version of the Joker. I don't want him to kind of, make it like, I don't want it to where people are comparing him to other Jokers. I want people to look at his Joker the same way they looked at Heath Ledger's Joker, and the way that they kind of look at Mark Hamill's voice animation of the Joker. I want them to look at Jared Leto's Joker as its own separate entity, his own version of the Joker, and not saying, okay, well, he's kind of like the Mark Hamill voiced version. He's kind of like Heath Ledger's. He's a little bit like Jack Nicholson's from the 1989 Batman. I want people to look at Jared Leto's Joker as his own Joker, like the Jared Leto Joker, like make it its own category, like these other variations we've gotten throughout the years on the big screen and on animated shows, and of course, in the video games. So I kind of want his Joker to be on its own and to be its own thing, and not be taking little, like, big chunks of other versions of Joker and throwing it into kind of what he wants to do, make it his own. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think when they went into this, they didn't want to hire somebody who was going to literally just sit back and go, oh, okay, I guess I'll just copy Jack Nicholson and I'll copy this Mark Hamill, like kind of what he does with the voice a little bit. And I'm going to take kind of what Heath Ledger did with the tongue, and I'll be good. No, I think he needs to make the Joker menacing, dark, but also make it his own, to where we're like, I didn't expect that from the Joker. Oh, I never really saw that in Joker, but now his version does something I've never expected. I would like to see that. But from what this photo really gives us, I mean, going back to the photo in general, because it kind of sparks this whole talk about what he's going to bring to the table, I mean, it looks really cool. I mean, it's blurry for a reason because they don't want to give too much away. I'm pretty sure at this point he may have the voice down. Now, there has been some video, like little bits and clips coming out of him at the concerts and stuff, and him, because he, of course, is in the band. I think 30 Seconds to Mars, I don't know, because I don't keep up with that. I'm just more interested in his role as a Joker, not his music. And basically, there was one particular video where he's starting a song, and he changes his voice, and it sounds kind of a little bit like the Joker, and not really. It just sounds like he's just getting menacing. Like he went from this to like, shut up. You shut up. Like he was just changing his voice, and people were like, oh, but I don't think he's going to give away the Joker voice at a concert. I mean, maybe he was channeling a little Joker voice, but I think when we see the Joker in a trailer or hear his voice, or see him on the big screen, if they hold off to not, you're not going to hear his voice until the actual film, then that'll be a surprise. But I expect his voice to probably be a unique voice for the Joker. I don't expect him to kind of carbon copy any other, like Heath Ledger's voice for the Joker, or Jack Nicholson's, or Mark Hamill's. I expect maybe kind of similar to maybe one of them, but make it kind of his own, in the same sense of where he's going to perform it on his own, because the voice is very key to the Joker, on top of the fact of how he presents himself. So there's a lot of layers Jared Leto has to do, but I think that when they talked to him and before they signed him, and obviously, he accepted the role and he signed the dotted line, did the contract, that they were telling him he can't half-ass this. He has to fully put himself into that character, and I believe that's what's going to happen here. So this is a beautiful photo, and honestly, I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of discussion, a lot of rumors, because there's no facts, there's no official proof that this is the case, but I'm hoping that the Joker is the villain in Suicide Squad, in the sense of where he's more of a villain than the villain team, the Suicide Squad, and they have to go stop him. But That's the one thing I could see. I mean, or maybe he just pops up from time to time and he's not really a part of the team, but he's just kind of there. And then Harley Quinn is all, like, ooh, like maybe she knows of him, but or does not know of him until this film. That'd be interesting to see that, where Harley Quinn doesn't really know the Joker and kind of sees him from these different meetings and stuff, where the Joker's meeting up with the Suicide Squad for some random reason. And then Harley Quinn just gets swooned by him and goes like, oh, I like this guy. And then it ends up they fall in love, or whatever direction they decide to go. If they're just sidekicks and she's in love and he doesn't give a crap, I don't care. I mean, I just want to see this Joker have a good presence, to where it's not like, okay, because they're doing so much to kind of tease this out. I mean, if the Joker is barely in the film at all, it's kind of a wasted opportunity, I believe, because they're putting so much of the tease. I mean, we see this picture here. We see where if you've seen online, where he was Snapchatting and he was like, doing more of these teases, like these little videos on Snapchat where he was teasing out the Joker, and he wasn't really showing off too much. He was just being really sneaky about it and just being, crazy. And he dyed his hair blonde, and now, of course, that probably helps out with making the green stand out more in his hair when they film. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why he dyed his hair blonde. It makes sense, because now it's green in the photo. We can kind of tell it's green. But who knows? I'm just really excited to see what he brings to the table for the Joker, and we'll just have to wait and see. But what I said in the topic, of course, is I want to see him make this Joker his own, and not, steal from, or not steal, but kind of, copy a little bit and take from other Jokers. I want to see Jared Leto show that he can create a different version of the Joker that we have not really seen yet, and kind of make it its own thing, to where that's the Jared Leto version of the Joker. That's his version, and he's going to stick with it. So big props to him. Hopefully he will, succeed. So let's continue on here with the second topic, which of course is the new Fantastic Four stills. Well, there was a couple of released, but where it really stood out is that not only did Entertainment Weekly put out a photo, but also I think Empire magazine as well, I believe. Yeah, Empire. I'm looking at the Empire photo here. We have two new images of seeing the face of the Thing from Fantastic Four, and honestly, right off the bat, I want to say I like the look of this. I really do. I'm looking at the Empire photo right now, and I remember the Entertainment Weekly photo very clearly. He's going in for a punch. So, but just looking at his face and not really talking about the rest of his body, but just see his face, because this is really the officially first time we've seen his face. There was a big poster that was somewhere up outside of the U.S. Someone took a photo, and it was like this guy standing in front of a huge poster of the Fantastic Four, and you got to see Ben Grimm, the Thing's face, but it wasn't officially released. It was like a poster that was out there. This is an official clear photo from two different magazines, put out a photo basically the same day or something like that. They kind of collaborated this whole deal. But the Thing's face, I really like it. It's kind of symmetric, but kind of not. It's kind of weird, and I like that, because in the sense of the tone they kind of delivered within the first trailer for this Fantastic Four reboot, they're going for a darker tone, and I don't have an issue with that at all. I really don't, because if you remember the Thing, Ben Grimm, from the first two Fantastic Four films, what it wasn't CGI. It was like prosthetics, and they had this like suit that he kind of wore or whatever, and it just looked way too blocky. It looked kind of strange, and it just kind of felt like it was too fake. And the problem that I really had with that version of the Thing was that not only was it just looked kind of dumb. I mean, the fact that they're treating it like they're both films like a comedy, but they're making way too many jokes about his body, about how he's all blocky, and they have to make jokes and all this stuff and make puns and blah blah blah. And it just felt like that they weren't taking this seriously. I mean, he is a huge guy with this rock formation, and he can basically destroy anything he wants. I mean, in the comic books, even though the Thing a lot of the times lost, but he fought the Hulk and stood his ground for quite some time. Now, obviously, this Thing is probably not going to be as big as the Hulk in the cinematic universe, but you get my point. He's a big guy, and you don't want to mess with him. And they just kept making jokes. The Fantastic Four kept making jokes about the Thing in the first two Fantastic Four films. So looking at this, he's not symmetrical. The rocks are broken in different places, and he looks like he is very menacing and scary. Now, obviously, he's going to be with his team and be with the Fantastic Four, but I like the look of this. It doesn't have to be symmetrical. I mean, it was too symmetrical looking in the Four, the first two films. In this, it's not, and it kind of fits with what they're trying to go with this Fantastic Four reboot. Make it about these younger versions of the characters. Do some, of course, different changes of the origins. Blah blah blah. I'm not going to get into the whole thing where Sue Storm and Johnny Storm are not like real brother and sister. They're adopted because Johnny Storm's African American. We've already got over that. If you hate that because he's African American, you have an issue. But the poor thing we're talking about here is the Thing. And I like his look. It's obviously CGI. I don't have an issue with that because it looks good. If it was crappy CGI and it was very obvious that, oh my god, they're really going with CGI, it looks terrible. It looks good. We're basically in the highest point we are at this point. We're going to continue to get better and better and better with CGI. And look at Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Andy Serkis as Caesar was amazing, and I think that this is another proof that CGI is really really good. It looks menacing. He looks like he can kick some serious ass here. The photo of him punching shows that there's going to be a lot. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I think, in my personal opinion, it looks like he is going to destroy shit. He is going to destroy stuff. And looking at the costumes of the Fantastic Four, obviously the Thing does not have a costume. Well, at least in the photos we have seen, he does not have a costume. Obviously, because he's rock formated human being. He's basically a mutated rock form of a human. So obviously he cannot really wear any uniform. And but the look they're going with, and like I was saying before, the tone, this look fits. If he was too symmetrical and the rocks were perfectly aligned like they were in the first two Fantastic Four films, and they kept the same design and kept the same outlook for the rest of the Fantastic Four, it would look like it would stand out. It would look like it didn't fit in this universe because it's like, okay, these other three, they have cool costumes, but they're varied and stuff, and obviously they look like they're going through some really deep shit. And the Thing, I mean, yeah, he looks like he can kick some serious ass, but he looks kind of goofy. He doesn't look menacing and serious. It looks like he's like, he's a comedic. He's the comedic thing for this film. I like the fact that he looks dark in this, and I think that it's going to really show. Now, obviously, the whole arguing debate about that superhero films should not always be dark. I understand that. There's probably going to be some jokes and stuff here and there, but there's not going to be anything like the first two Fantastic Four films. At least I hope not. I really hope they don't go that direction. I think they're taking this film very seriously, and everyone was thinking that they were going to basically ruin this thing like they did with the first two Fantastic Four films. But I believe Fox is turning things around. I mean, we saw what they did with X-Men Days of Future Past. Fantastic, beautiful film, and I think that they're going to do the same treatment here. I think that Simon Kinberg is not going to throw this under the bus and say, I'll half-ass write this. And Josh Trank, I understand you're directing, man, but who gives a crap? I mean, this is a garbage reboot. They put a lot of time and a lot of effort into this film, and the fact is that they didn't want to show off too much. The fact that they're putting out pictures now and they're putting out all this stuff to kind of promote the film and kind of get some buzz out there without putting out a trailer, they're building up to put out another trailer. They are definitely building up, and they're going to wait till after Age of Ultron comes out, I believe. Now, they could surprise us and put out a trailer tomorrow. Who knows? But I think they're going to be putting out these little hints and little teases of photos building up to another trailer, because that first trailer was a major tease. We barely got to see anything, and at the very end, the shot of all four of them standing back to the camera, that was it. But they're putting out these photos because they want that audience. They want the audiences to get excited. They want the people, the public, to be aware that this is happening, and they put a lot of time into this. Now, obviously, if they didn't give a crap and they weren't thinking that this film was going to do well, they would either tank it and say we're not even going to put it out, or they wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't put out promotional photos. They wouldn't do this. I mean, the responses I've seen for the Ben Grimm photos, the Thing photos that we're talking about in this segment, have been very positive for the most part, and I think that's good. I think that's really good because it shows that people who were unsure before the first trailer, and they saw the first trailer and they were either like, it looks like it's gonna be good, or they still think, I'm interested, but I'm not really sure. I think that these images and what they're putting out now, leading up to an actual full official trailer with, not the teaser, is going to turn more people around, and I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be something that people will look forward to, and I think that this film will be a success, kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy. You didn't expect it, but then it turns out to be a really nice film. Now, obviously, this film is not going to be anything like Guardians of the Galaxy, but it's kind of like it kind of makes sense. Guardians of the Galaxy, no one really knew about it. The comic series was not as popular as Iron Man or the Hulk or anything like that, and it surprisingly destroyed the box offices and really, gave out some big numbers. Now, do I think that this film is going to do the same because it's not known? It's a well-known property. It is in the big sense of comic books. I mean, it's not as popular as other things, but it's a popular thing that people remember. I mean, obviously people who saw the first two Fantastic Four films remember that, but I think that when they see the trailers for this, they see the photos online and other people are sharing it around and showing these different like stills and trailers and stuff like that, that this film will be a huge success based on the audience feedback to what they see in trailers and pictures. And I think that this picture and the other picture of him clobbering and hammering down about the freaking punch is definitely going to get some more excitement for this film. So big props to Fox for doing this, because obviously they don't have to put out anything. They don't have to put out steals and stuff. They can just wait till after a trailer comes out and then like a couple weeks before the film release some photos, and then there you go. They're getting ahead of this. They are definitely promoting this film and they are ready to put this thing out. I'm surprised they haven't put it out. Just put it out now. Who cares? Who cares about that August date? Just put it out now. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. But I mean, these photos and that first teaser trailer, and hopefully a really good official trailer that hopefully will come out, so we can get to see more of the story and more of what the film is going to provide. I think that it will provide us with some really good stuff, and can't wait. Final topic we're going to get to, guys, we'll be done with this podcast, is two trailers, supposed, not confirmed at this particular point. Now, obviously, they could confirm it tomorrow when I'm supposed to release the podcast because I record a day early, but, whatever. Let's get to the third topic, guys. Third topic, we're going to combine these two together. Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, supposed trailer attached to Mad Max Fury Road and Star Wars The Force Awakens. A full official trailer, not a teaser, a full official trailer shown at Star Wars Celebration or in front of Avengers Age of Ultron. Okay, first let's get to the Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. We'll get to that first. Now, there's been a lot of speculation because, Batman vs. Superman is literally less than a year away at this point, and it's a big deal. Everyone's getting so amped up and excited. So, obviously, the Comic-Con footage of 2014 was shown where Batman was looking up at Superman. Superman was looking down at Batman. And that's all we got to see, and it was obviously leaked online. It wasn't supposed to come out online, and people recorded it, and that's what happens. But ever since Jupiter Ascending, well, actually, no, The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies, back in December, I believe, yes, December, there was rumors that the trailer was attached to that. Didn't happen. Then Jupiter Ascending. Oh, it's got to be attached to Jupiter Ascending, right? Nope, didn't happen. I believe there was another film or not, but now they're saying Mad Max Fury Road, and there's been other sources online claiming that this is confirmed, but obviously Warner Brothers has not mentioned it's confirmed. Now, obviously, Warner Brothers would probably confirm it or release it earlier online before if it was going to come out for Mad Max Fury Road in May 16, I believe, or the middle of May next month. So, do I think it's going to happen? Do I think that we're going to see a Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice trailer in front of Mad Max Fury Road? My money is half and half. At this point, that film would be literally 10 months away when we get to the middle of May, when it's supposedly supposed to be attached to another Warner Brothers film. Do I think it's going to happen? My money is kind of half and half. On one side, it's 10 months away. It's really far away. At this point, you put out a trailer, you're going to get a lot of buzz, but at the same time, people are going to be like, well, yeah, it's awesome. Look at this crap, but we still got to wait 10 months. So, I would rather than put it out in the summer, while we're closer to it. But, that's one side. The other side is the hype for this movie, ever since they announced it in 2013, has been so damn high for so long, even though we get little bits and pieces from time to time. But, from one picture to the next picture, we have to wait like 3, 4, 5 months, but people are still amped up for this film. The expectations for this film is humongous. So if a trailer comes out for Mad Max Fury Road, that trailer will last for a long time until they release another trailer. So now the next question is, and then I'll jump over to Force Awakens, Star Wars. For Batman vs. Superman, is it going to be a full trailer? No. It's going to be a teaser. It's not going to... It's going to be kind of like the Star Wars The Force Awakens teaser we got in Thanksgiving of 2014. It's going to be kind of like that. They're not going to put out a full trailer now, even though the film is done and they're scoring it right now. Supposedly, they're scoring it right now. But they're not going to put out a full 2-minute trailer. If they do, it's the biggest shock of the world. But I believe they're going to put out a little bit more than a minute or less than a minute of a teaser for Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. And they're going to stick with that because, you don't want to blow your load, kind of explicit there, too early. Because putting out a teaser will be like, oh, yes, and you don't show off too much. You get the excitement up, but you don't show off too much. Then, summertime or fall of this year, you release that trailer that's going to blow people's minds. And then you keep that anticipation and that excitement up at that point. A teaser right now will get people through quite some time rewatching the teaser and rewatching how epic it is. So, if it was going to go in the ladder of yes, they're going to show a trailer in front of Mad Max for Batman v Superman, make it a teaser. Don't make it a full-on official trailer. And obviously, other people that are probably going to go, "Oh my God, dude, we need a full trailer." I understand they could do that. They could completely surprise us. If they do, just make sure they don't show off too much. Show some leading up to like the final couple shots that are going to blow people's minds. But I think a teaser would be a smarter way to go. Switching over to Star Wars: The Force Awakens. We got, of course, the teaser trailer back in Thanksgiving of 2014. Been speculated that Star Wars: The Force Awakens, the full trailer, official full trailer, will be basically shown first at Star Wars Celebration and then shown in front of Avengers: Age of Ultron. It makes sense. They're both Disney-owned properties. I mean, Avengers: Age of Ultron is basically at this point guaranteed to break $1 billion as soon as it possibly can. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it if Avengers: Age of Ultron breaks $1 billion before it reaches the U.S. on May 1st, because it comes out a lot of places on like April 21st or something like that. So expect Age of Ultron at this point, after opening weekend for May 1st, it will probably break $1 billion. So there you have that. So it would be so smart for them to put out the Star Wars: The Force Awakens official full trailer in front of Avengers: Age of Ultron overseas and show it, and obviously put it out online, and of course show it at Celebration. I'm not sure how when Star Wars Celebration is, but if it's before or after Avengers: Age of Ultron is shown overseas, then I guess at that point the trailer will already be out. But who knows? They may do a little bit something more. I'm just not sure when that date is, but there's been a lot of talks. I actually think I discussed a little bit about supposed rumor on a past podcast about the trailer and what it's going to be containing, the full trailer. Now there's other things talking about. We're gonna see the original cast. Chewbacca, Han Solo, Leia, Luke, all that. C-3PO, R2-D2, all that. If they're shown even for a few seconds in the full trailer, I'm happy. That's all I really care about. I don't, necessarily care at this particular point. I really don't care about the new cast so much because I haven't seen the film yet. I'm more anticipating the original cast and what they're going to be, how they're going to be involved in the film. Now, obviously, I will care and start getting invested into the newer cast, into the new characters we're going to be introduced to when I see the film in December. But at this point, I'm more excited for the original cast simply because they're coming back, because they're returning to us. We get to see them again 30 years later after the end of Return of the Jedi. That's what I want to see. Now, do I think that they're going to be heavily involved in The Force Awakens? I don't know. I hope so, but hopefully not because they shoehorned them in, but because they serve a purpose. But for the trailer, I mean, like I said, I want to see the original cast. Not much. We don't need to see too much. We don't need to see them a lot. We just need to see them a little bit to where we go, oh, the original cast, yeah! And that's all we really need. We just don't need to see too much. Now, are they going to be teasing a little bit more of the Sith, per se, the Sith character with the cross sword lightsaber, essentially, we got to see in the teaser trailer? Hopefully we get a little bit more info, maybe kind of like a dialogue, playing over some dark ambient piano music or something, kind of like the Fantastic Four reboot first trailer where it's like dark and stuff, and we get kind of a voiceover of Andy Serkis, supposedly Andy Serkis, basically talking about his apprentice, because it's rumored that Andy Serkis is playing a Darth Sidious type character, and then that the character we saw who popped the lightsaber with the cross, with the two extra little blades at the end, is basically the Darth Vader, where he is the apprentice to the master to the Darth Sidious. So Darth Vader is the new guy with pop the lightsaber, and the new Darth Sidious is the Andy Serkis voiceover character we got to hear throughout the entire teaser, essentially. So will we get to see a little bit more backstory? I hope, but I don't want to hear too much. I don't want to hear too much now. I would rather them hold off a lot of, like, basically the huge plot of Force Awakens until basically summer or fall. I mean, obviously they're going to put it out pretty soon. I mean, if they put it out in Star Wars Celebration, it makes sense if they announce the Force Awakens synopsis and they release a teaser trailer and they show a little bit more of the villain and maybe tease a little bit of Andy Serkis' villain, if he is a villain. I believe he is. That's the rumor, at least. It's not official. So we'll get to see that. So for both trailers, I hope that the trailers that they do put out, if they do, in the hypothetical sense, that they are great, that they stand out and make us go, we want this movie now. You know, make the trailers count. We're talking about Batman v Superman, a movie that people have been dying to see forever, and Force Awakens, a film that people have been dying to see ever since the awful prequels. So anyways, guys, that's the end of the Chainsaw Reacts podcast, guys. Thank you guys once again for listening to the podcast. You know, reaching episode 10 is a big deal for me personally. So once again, thank you guys so much for supporting. Thank you guys for listening. That is the end of the show. Thank you guys. Once again, I keep railing myself. I'm done talking. Peace out, guys.